13. Krishna. This body, Arjuna, is called the field. He who knows this is called the knower of the field. Know that I am the knower in all the fields of my creation, and that the wisdom which sees the field and the knower of the field is true wisdom. Hear from me briefly what the field is and how it is, what its changes are, and whence each one comes, who is the knower and what is his power. This has been sung by seers of the Vedas in many musical measures of verse, and in the great words about Brahman, words of faith and full of truth. The 5 elements, the thought of I, consciousness, subconsciousness, the 5 powers of feeling and the 5 of action, and the one mind over them, the 5 fields of sense perception. Desire, aversion, pleasure, pain, the power of mental unification, intelligence, and courage. This is the field and its modifications. Humbleness, sincerity, harmlessness, forgiveness, uprightness, devotion to the spiritual master, purity, steadiness, and self-harmony. Freedom from the lust of the senses, absence of the thought of I, perceptions of the sorrows of birth, death, old age, disease, and suffering. Freedom from the chains of attachments, even from a selfish attachment to one's children, wife, or home. An ever-present evenness of mind in pleasant or unpleasant events. A single oneness of pure love, of never straying love for me, retiring to solitary places and avoiding the noisy multitudes. A constant yearning to know the inner spirit and a vision of truth which gives liberation. This is the true wisdom leading to vision. All against this is ignorance. Now I shall tell thee of the end of wisdom. When a man knows this, he goes beyond death. It is Brahman, beginningless, supreme, beyond what is and beyond what is not. His hands and feet are everywhere. He has heads and mouths everywhere. He sees all, he hears all. He is in all, and he is. The light of consciousness comes to him through infinite powers of perception, and yet he is above all these powers. He is beyond all, and yet he supports all. He is beyond the world of matter, and yet he has joy in this world. He is invisible, he cannot be seen. He is far and he is near. He moves and he moves not. He is within all, and he is outside all. He is one in all, but it seems as if he were many. He supports all beings. From him comes destruction, and from him comes creation. He is the light of all lights, which shines beyond all darkness. It is vision, the end of vision, to be reached by vision, dwelling in the heart of all. I have told thee briefly what is the field and what is wisdom, and what is the end of man's vision. When a man knows this, he may enter into my being. Know that Prakriti, nature, and Purusha, spirit, are both without beginning, and that temporal changes and the gunas, conditions, come all from nature. Nature is the source of all material things, the maker, the means of making, and the thing made. Spirit is the source of all consciousness, which feels pleasure and feels pain. The spirit of man, when in nature, feels the ever-changing conditions of nature. When he binds himself to things ever-changing, a good or evil fate whirls him round through life and death. But the Spirit Supreme in man is beyond fate. He watches, gives blessing, bears all, and feels all. He is called the Lord Supreme and the Supreme Soul. He who knows in truth this Spirit, and knows nature with its changing conditions, wherever this man may be, he is no more whirled round by fate. Some by the yoga of meditation and by the grace of the Spirit see the Spirit in themselves, some by the yoga of the vision of truth, and others by the yoga of work. And yet there are others who do not know, but they hear from others and adore. They also cross beyond death because of their devotion to words of truth. Whatever is born, Arjuna, whether it moves or it moves not, know that it comes from the union of the field and the knower of the field. He who sees that the Lord is all is ever the same in all, that is, immortal in the field of mortality. He sees the truth. And when a man sees that God in himself is the same as God in all that is, he hurts not himself by hurting others. Then he goes indeed to the highest path. He who sees that all work, everywhere, is the only work of nature, that the Spirit watches this work, he sees the truth. When a man sees that the infinity of various beings is abiding in the One, and is an evolution from the One, then he becomes one with Brahman. Beginningless and free from changing conditions, imperishable is the Spirit Supreme. Though he is in the body, not his is the work of the body, and he is pure from the imperfection of all work. Just as the omnipresent is either pure because intangible, so the Spirit dwelling in matter is pure from the touch of matter. And even as one sun gives light to all things in this world, so the Lord of the field gives light to all his field. Those who with the eye of inner vision see the distinction between the field and the knower of the field, and see the liberation of any spirit from matter, they go into the Supreme.